Hey, how's everyone today? So I'm doing a video on my two Bachmann Spectrum Dash-8's, and these are later runs, 2002 to 2005 approximately. So the Conrail Dash-8, I managed to find it brand new in box, still in the seal. But the CSX one is a work in progress. It needed a little bit of TLC, and it's having decoder issues. I was able to reset the decoder, but I can't get it to take its row number. So it's just set at factory 3. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to put a new decoder in that. And unfortunately, these older Bachmann runs are known for being notorious for decoder issues. But let's get these two running, because I have not run them much, not even the Conrail. Alright, so I'll show you what I'm doing with my decoder. Or not decoder, but controller, my bad. So I'm using the Digitrax DCS50, which is a much older one, but it's still very relevant. And I got one of my throttles set to the Conrail Dash-8, which is 6087. And a little trick to get these old Bachmanns to read, the read their decoder, you have to put a little resistor on your program track. So that's a little trick with them. If you're ever having trouble with them, stick a resistor on there, and that should solve the problem. But that's not the case with the CSX. So unfortunately, it is what it is, and just going to have to roll with it. But I'm going to get these trains going. I'm not going to talk a whole lot this video. Alright, here we go. Get CSX on the move. There we go. And I'll get Conrail on the move. Excellent. There we go. I'm not too sure what to expect with the two of these, so we'll just roll with it. Especially the CSX one being so wonky. I'll put a little more power into the CSX. Gotta take in consideration too, you know, these locomotives are now 20 years old. Even though, you know, Conrail there sat unopened in a box, I mean, it's still a 20-year-old locomotive. The CSX Dash-8 had quite a few broken parts on the body that I had to fix, and luckily I had some spare parts too. But it was super cheap, and I figured, well, it'll be a good project. And so far it's come along good, but definitely some decoder issues. The lights look really good on these locomotives. Speaking of light, it seems like my camera just did something funky with its lighting. I can't even explain that. I don't know. I might have mentioned this in a previous video, but unfortunately, I can't make an actual layout, table layout, because we are not in our forever home. And I don't want to put all the money and resources and time into doing a nice table layout and then having to tear it all down. So unfortunately, I put down track wherever I can conveniently put it down at. But it is what it is. I enjoy the hobby. I love building the locomotives, fixing locomotives. I love doing undecorated builds. Just like a model kit to me. Alright, I'm going to get CSX running a little slower. And I'll drop the speed of the Conrail too, a little bit. A little slower. There we go. Yeah, slows down a bit on these 18-inch radius curves, pulling all these passenger cars. I got nice 22-inch radius Cato track, but not hooked up at the moment. Alright, I'm going to hit the brakes on CSX. And then I'll hit the brakes on Conrail. Here in a second. There we go. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. I'm definitely going to put better decoders on them. Because these old Bachmann ones are not the greatest, and one of the Facebook groups I'm on, a lot of other model railroad, and the people in the hobby there, I'm getting all like tongue-tied there for a second. So yeah, other individuals in the model railroading community is how I wanted to word it, have mentioned that these decoders were not the best. The locomotives are great. Like, they're built really nice. They're built like a, how I like to say it, built like a tank. And they got great detail, especially for back in 2003 and 2005. There, I'll pull the phone off the tripod here, so I can get a little closer to them. And I did a little bit of detail painting myself, like I did a lot of the grab rails. I did the steps there on CSX. I should say I had to redo a bit on the CSX, because it was in a bit of rough shape. It was definitely had a lot of miles put on it, so it definitely needed some TLC, but coming along really good. Well, there, just get some close-up shots of them. So basically with the Conrail, I just added some white paint on the smaller grab irons there on the nose and above the windows on the cab. Added some white. And the small grab rails on the front of the nose, I painted those blue. And if we could see the back of the locomotive, the same thing. CSX, grab irons, on the nose, on the front there, painted those white. I had to repaint the railings there, the bigger grab irons. I had to repaint those white because it was all flaked off and everything. And I'm working on the steps, and they're coming along all right. I just have to scrape a little bit of access paint off. I prefer using acrylic because it's easy to fix mistakes when you make them. So I just got to scrape a little bit off to make it look like it doesn't have any overrun. I did a much better. I did a little bit of scraping there on the Conrail. It's coming out really, really nice. But little bit at a time, and it all comes together. And the biggest thing I like about the older locomotives is I can always get them for a good price, and I'm more than happy with them. They're great. I got the little wind deflectors there on the Conrail. Unfortunately, I don't have any for the CSX. But I will work on that and get some on it. Let's get over to the other side here. There we go. Yeah, those steps there are looking a little cleaner. And the bottom step, it was missing one, so I had an extra step, so I glued it on there. And it was gray. And I just got to I painted it black, and I just got to put a little bit of white on there. So it looks a lot better. Yeah, the rear steps there look great. Conrail is looking amazing. Oh, I got a little bit of overpaint on one of those steps. I can easily fix that. It's no big deal. But yeah, I get a nice close up there of the nose. And the cab looking really good. But yeah, for their age, they look fine. Excellent detail, and it's hard for the camera to pick it up, but the steps have texture. Same with the walkway. The walkway has texture too, but the phone's not really gonna pick it up too well. Let's see if we can get around the back of it. There, and I did those grab irons white, and the Conrail, a little hard to see. I did them blue. But here's the funny thing. Normally I do this when I looked up the actual locomotive 7661, which I normally do first, but I didn't with this one. Everywhere I painted white on the grab irons on the actual locomotive when I Googled it were yellow. I was like, oh man, I should probably redo it, but I was like, no, the white really stands out. And CSX did do a lot of their locomotives with the grab irons white, so I'm gonna leave it as is, although the actual locomotive, they're yellow. It's hard to say though. Over the decades they could have been white at one time. Very well could have been, but all the pictures I found, 7661 yellow, where I painted it white, but that's okay. But I think I'll end the video. We're hitting over 14 minutes long. And I said I wasn't going to talk much in it, but I ended up talking anyway. My bad for that. But like and subscribe if you wish. And everyone take care. Have a great day. I'll have another video soon of some more locomotives ripping around the little track here. Alright, have a good one.